Hey Starseeds, welcome back. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Irene and I am here every single Wednesdays and Sundays providing you with very delicious plant-based recipes. And not only myself, but also Greg, who is behind the camera. So we are going to be making a stew today. This is a vegan stew and it is a very simple stew. Okay, so we're going to start off by adding in some organic fresh celery to our food processor. Now I'm using a food processor just to give us a little bit of a head start so that we don't have to chop everything up, because as you know, if you've made a stew before, there's a lot of chopping involved in chopping your carrots and your potatoes, etc. So what we're going to do is just pulverize the celery. So it's a handful of celery, 2 small cloves of garlic, and 2 onions, which I should probably cut just to help the food processor along. And this is going to give our stew a really delicious flavor. And actually, adding celery in stew reminds me of when I was a child, because my mom used to make me the most delicious bean stew and she always used to put celery in it. So it just really does remind me, and it sort of gives a note of Mediterranean style cooking. So we're just going to put all of that in, and all we're going to do is turn it on. So when you're done blending this, you're just going to get a very mashed consistency of celery, garlic and onions. And the reason why I do this is because I don't really like chunks of onion or celery in my stew. I kind of like it to be sort of, the flavor is there, but the texture is not there. Okay, so now that you have processed all of your onions, celery and garlic, we're gonna set that aside. Into a pot, we're gonna add in some olive oil. Let's add in a generous amount. And now we're gonna take our mashed celery mixture and just put it in the pot. So you want to cook this for quite a while, maybe 6 or 7 minutes, just to make sure that all the water gets evaporated. And because, you know, as you know, celery really releases a lot of water, and so does onion. So you just want to put that on a medium heat. And to that, we're gonna add in some carrots. Just add in all of your carrots and some beets. These are very small. Oh, my eyes are watering. There's a lot of onions in there. So just a few, I think I have about 6 very small beets that we're just going to throw inside of the pot. And we're just gonna give that a nice mix. And we're gonna let this cook, guys, for about 10 minutes. So I've got a lot of herbs here. I've got fresh oregano, thyme, and some rosemary. And what we're gonna do is we're just going to chop all of these herbs up, like so. And this is gonna add in a lot of flavor. I usually use dried oregano because I think the flavor is a lot more potent. But today I'm gonna be using fresh. So I'm just going to chop all that up. Okay, so now that we have chopped up all of our herbs, we're just going to place those into the pot along with some cinnamon. Now, those of you who have been watching our channel for quite some time, you know that I love putting cinnamon in everything. We're putting in some black pepper. We're doing a bunch of bay leaves, dried bay leaves. Those are going in, and that's gonna give such a nice flavor. And also a little bit of sea salt. And mix. Okay, once you've mixed it up, you're just going to let it cook for 10 minutes. So I'll see you guys then. So most of the water has evaporated from the vegetables, so they're starting to caramelize. This might take up to 20 minutes, okay? So once you see that your vegetables are caramelizing, and you know that that's happened because at the bottom of the pan, it'll be sort of like looks burnt, but actually it's not burnt. It's just that your vegetables are caramelizing. So after about 20 minutes, you're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of flour, And this is gonna give a nice thickness to the stew. So you're gonna give that a good mix. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in some wine, okay? So, red wine, that's what I'm using. That is good. And we're also gonna go in with some tomato sauce. And some water. Now for the measurements, you guys can look at the description below because I'm gonna have everything there for you written out. Just wanna get in quite a bit of water in there because we are going to be adding potatoes. So don't forget to add in the broth of your choice. I'm using the cube, you can use powdered broth and a cinnamon stick. That's gonna go in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait until it comes to a boil. You can already see the stew kind of bubbling up. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to put in our potatoes. So now that our stew is boiling, we're going to add in the potatoes, okay? So first we're gonna add in the white potatoes, and this is because sweet potatoes take less time. So we're just gonna add these in first. And then in a few minutes, we will be adding in the sweet potatoes. And just one thing I wanted to let you guys know. Gnocchi, fresh gnocchi cooks in about 2 minutes, okay? So if you have fresh gnocchi, you really wanna add it in at the end when the stew is just about ready. You're just gonna pop in the gnocchi, and in 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, your dish will be ready, okay? So, but for now, let's concentrate on these potatoes. So our stew is nice and bubbly and our potatoes are beginning to soften. It's been about 15 minutes, so now we're gonna add in the sweet potatoes. So now we gotta cover it with the lid and we have to continue cooking this until the potatoes are nice and tender. And then in the last couple of minutes, we're gonna add in the gnocchi. Okay, so our potatoes have been boiling for 30 minutes and they're nice and tender. And now we're gonna add in the fresh gnocchi. I'm putting in about a cup and maybe a cup and a half. And now, whoops. So these are gonna be ready in about 2 minutes or so. So what we're gonna do is just mix it up a little bit. And then it's just a waiting game. Our stew is ready. And now I'm just gonna take a ladle and place it into my bowl of choice. Guys, I'm telling you, this is like a pot of home. It just smells like home and it tastes like home and it's just so comforting. Now, the good thing about this dish is that anything goes. If you don't like beetroot, like I put in beetroot, if you don't like beetroot, you can put mushrooms in there, you can put leeks in there, you can put any kind of vegetable, really. Oh yeah, those gnocchis look mighty fine. So, I'm gonna try this for you. But first, we're just going to take some parsley, freshly chopped parsley, and just, oh yeah, that looks delicious. I'm digging in. Let's try this gnocchi with some sauce. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is really delicious. I don't know why I'm surprised. I've made it before. And it's so good. So all these flavors coming together, the rosemary, the thyme, okay? The cinnamon that I put in, the salt, it's all working together, and the red wine, and all of these root vegetables, the sweet potatoes, the beetroot. Guys, it's absolutely delicious. And really, I highly recommend that you do add in the celery and the onions and the garlic because it really adds a lot of depth of flavor. And it's not so obvious. The celery is not so obvious for those people who don't like celery. It's just, it adds this kick, this note that you need to have in the stew. So I hope you guys try it. I need one more bite. So warming, so lovely. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe because Greg and I are actually here every single Wednesdays and Sundays giving you the most delicious, wholesome plant-based recipes. So we hope to see you very soon.